Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Welcome everybody, guys. Let's take a look at the euro currency. So yesterday it was really dramatic action, although it just impossible to predict, but technically the setup that we have described on the grabber that has been formed on the weak background of this previous upward action here, and we talked about this grabber, and that's probably we think that it should complete the target, so market could drop here to the downside, taking out of these lows. Well, by the European Central Bank intruding, it has been completed. So that's the moment where you see that external driving factors intrude in the normal market behavior and leads to a bit, sometimes maybe not quite logical price behavior, because based on the technical picture, it's impossible to predict that there should be some downward action here, because in general this is a reversal type of the price behavior, especially when on the session before, market has shown some kind of a moderate retracement through 618, and it's logical to be just foresee the possible upward continuation. But on the European Central Bank betting, we've got this collapse. As a result, this grabber mostly has been completed. Yes, they also have got another grabber that also right now is completed because market has exceeded this top. And now is the question what to do next. First of all, we should not be too hurry up with the conclusion what really has happened. We try to understand what has happened in our weekly report. We will take a look at some investors' talks about this event, experts' opinion. So we will see what has happened with the position. So the normal job that we do in the weekend, just to understand how maybe the fundamental background has changed on the market and whether this has changed or not. Because this is important. Currently, it's too much emotions right now on the markets, and we should not treat this recent reversal, some upward action, as some final judgment on the market perspective. So that could be a lot of technical factors inside of this action. Investors need to come down a bit right now, and they need to sleep with this situation, to take a look at the different sides on this situation, and then on the next week starts action. So from the technical point of view, we have some specific moments here that suggest the possible upward continuation, at least for some time. First of all, even without the situation on the euro, if you'll take a look at the dollar index here, we have some things. As on the euro, the grabber has been formed here, but this grabber hasn't reached the target, and target is taken out of these lows. So on the euro, this grabber is completed, on the dollar index is not. So it means that here we should get some downward continuation, taken out of these lows. This is first moment. But if you'll take a look carefully, you will see here really strong and long-term trend line has been formed. And you could maybe draw a bit different manner, but you understand the idea. And as soon as market will taken out of these lows, this trend line will be broken, which is also gives the hint that probably downward action here could continue. This is the first moment around the grabber and its target. Second, from the classical technical analysis point of view, previously we've got the consolidation, this pennant triangle consolidation, and market has shown opposite breakout of it, but has failed to continue action up and returns right back down inside of it and breaking down. It means that the action, it's so-called bullish trap. So first it was bearish trap because this was actually bearish pennant. This has been formed after the collapse, but it has broken in opposite direction. Now it becomes the traps for the bulls because it's now taken back inside of the consolidation and breaking it in, let's call it as a correct direction, the downside, which means that downward action will be much stronger than the upward action here, some failure breakout. So that's the things that we should keep an eye on the common week and today's session as well. So at least by some technical factors, market probably will continue some upward action in the nearest time. Maybe it will not be very significant for a weekly, monthly chart, but on a daily, well, it could be some deeper fib level. I mean, on the dollar index, some extended targets or something of that sort. Well, taking the parallel look on the euro, it means that here we could consider it kind of the double bottom, I suppose. So for the double bottom, this market could reach area around 112, maybe 112.50. So it could be equal distance to the upside. That's equals to this depth of the pattern. So counted in the point of the breakout to the upside. So it will be somewhere at 12.50 theoretically. At the same time, in the current moment, right now, we will be watching the closer target. So here is definitely bullish action. Market's taking out of this top, moving above the monthly pivot point, breaking the confluence, and coming to the next 11.25. So it's not that they were bad, and actually it could easily continue upward action right now. On the 4-hour time frame chart, the things that we will keep an eye on at this ABC bottom pattern. Yes, in the current situation, we could use the ABCD because currently the C point stands above the A or equal to A. There was no any wash and rinse of these lows. And that's why we could use this ABCD pattern to estimate the extension. OP has been hit here. Market's coming to weekly pivot resistance one. Next target will be XOP. It's 1182. So on the daily chart, 1182 is somewhere in this area. So it's about the 618, this level. It's not necessary that will be reached today, but that's the next extension that we'll keep an eye on. It means that right now, if market will show some meaningful downside pullback in the manner of the ABCD pattern or something of that sort, maybe some godless pattern will be formed, we could keep an eye on to watch for taking the long position with a possible upward continuation based on the strong thrust that we have, an overall drastic shift in the sentiment that has happened yesterday. So that's the thing that we could keep an eye on. Taking on the yesterday price action, guys, in general, you can see how our setup was realized. So take a look. Yesterday we talked that market probably is showing some kind of the ABCD action and should hold stand below 1030 to keep the bearish sentiment and probable downward breakout. So if we will not take into consideration this spike that has happened within a few seconds when the European Central Bank released its statement, in general this was correct. So you can see it's 1030, then market has fallen to the trap, then press conference has started, and you can see this upward action. So sentiment has changed. But when you're dealing with the central bank making these spikes, you can't exclude them. It's really happening. Even if you are correct on the overall direction, you should be ready for some extraordinary price behavior, some speculators games, and that could cost you some money if you do not foresee that and do not increase your stop to cover this volatility. So anyway, this trade is done right now with this grabber. Now we're watching for the upward action. I suppose that drastic shift in the sentiment suggests upward continuation, and now it's considered some development here. So, and if you will get some retracement, well, we could try to use it for possible taking short-term trade and upward continuation to the XOP target.